Hello, my friends. Welcome to the first installment of our travels here in Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia. In this episode, we will go all around the city, showing you the different types of things that there are to see. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's go. Good morning.
Доброе утро.
We're here in the capital of Mongolia, and we're going to be showing you the Chengis Square. It is the center of the city. Let's go. When people hear Mongolia, they usually think of desert, but to be honest, when Senya and I were traveling by train, we saw no such thing. This country is very green, at least in the capital, as you can see around us. There's a lot of trees around, there's a lot of birds singing, so it's the capital, but it is not a desert. And I'm actually very pleasantly surprised at the amount of modern buildings that are in this city. As we're walking to the Chengis Square, we noticed that there's some sort of celebration. So we won't be able to get too close, but we'll try to show you as much as possible. Leave a comment down below if this is what you thought Mongolia would look like. Modern buildings, greens. This is right at the center. They had a concert not long ago, so this is the stage that was left over for the concert. Whoa, look at this. Look at this little guy. Really funny. But right over there is the main square, so let's go over there. It's a beautiful morning. Look at the sun peeking over the buildings there. As it turns out, these are military cadets that are graduating from some sort of military school. What a fantastic morning. If you love architecture and history, the center where Chengis sits is actually the best place in the city to look at. There are many statues, there are many buildings of different eras, and there are many buildings that are being erected as we were visiting. And honestly, for me, the modern ones are just as beautiful as the old. Well, as it turns out, that is not the graduation. They're actually doing a practice. A Mongolian lady went up to Ksenia and said, hey, this is actually a practice, and the graduation is when?
June 23.
So they're going to graduate really on June 23. And that is just a practice. Look at the flowers. This is like... in Russia, they do the same. When summer comes, they put flowers all over the place. Look at this arrangement here. Really nice. You've seen the center and the buildings around it. Now we're going to go somewhere where we've gone before, and it is my favorite place in the whole city. But it's going to take us a while to get there. And if you don't know, if you come to this city, you're going to see a lot of, what is this, Toyota?
Prius?
The Prius, yes. There's so many Prius on the road in Mongolia. And they're usually like white or gray. You know, they all look the same. A very, very common car. The Toyota Prius here in Mongolia. This is the major intersection here, the biggest streets in the city. You have basically 4 or 5 lanes going in each direction, and then there's the street that goes towards the mountains. The city is not so big. In fact, you can walk the entire city in only a couple of hours from point to point, and it's a very scenic city. There's a lot of nice buildings being built, a lot of nice older buildings. This kind of reminds me of maybe a little bit like Novosibirsk, because these people are always building. Ksenia and I were here in 2022, and the city has absolutely grown. It used to be much smaller than this. That building is new. It was not that high when we got here the first time. On the street that I showed you right now, where the Chenga Square is, the avenue with the more than 10 lanes is maybe 2 or 3 embassies. And right now I'm going to show you the French and the Turkish, I think, embassies. And later on, a little bit down the road, there is the Russian embassy. So if you're traveling from Russia, it's really important for you to know where the Russian embassy is. And lucky for you, it's actually very, very central. It's one of the most central things in the entire city, actually, the Russian embassy. But here we're arriving at the French one. And I don't think it's that special. So outside, you start seeing a lot of things with France. Here you see that Macron guy, standing where we were standing. Do you remember? This is the Chengiz Square. He's there shaking hands with, I think, is either the Mongolian president or somebody more important, like a diplomat. And this is why I think it's the Turkish embassy as well, because it has the Turkish flag there and the floor is dry. So maybe this is the Turkish and French embassy. And on the Turkish side, it's very badly kept, and there's no grass, keeping with Turkish traditions, I guess. But we continue our way to a coffee place. In Mongolia, there's a place called CU and GS25. Some of the places, some of their locations are open 24 hours. And since Ksenia wants a coffee, we're going to a CU that's open 24 hours here. We're going to buy her a coffee. And there's a fun fact. You get free Wi-Fi at these locations. And they're everywhere in Ulaanbaatar, right?
Yes,
They're
it's very helpful.
It helps you get around the city. It connects you to the internet, so you can use Google Maps. So I'll show you what the CU looks like, and I'll show you what the GS25 looks like in case you come visit. Nice to see you. Very handy company. And right across is the GS25. This is what their logo looks like. It's a white GS and a blue 25. Let's get a coffee for Ksenia at the CU. This is what the GS25 looks like. We're getting closer to the center and closer to the place where we'll get the bus, the metro, to take us to this memorial that I wanted to show you guys. You can see the buildings are a little bit taller here. And at the absolute center of this little plaza, you get to see the Ulaanbaatar sign. Very cool, right? And interesting fact, I geolocated this for the Google Maps. And yeah, Ksenia and I think are one of the first people to put the photo up there. So if you're coming to visit Ulaanbaatar and you're looking for that sign, you're going to see our photo on there. Maybe a theater or something. The bus in Mongolia costs 500 MNT, their currency. I'll have the conversion on the screen for you. Public transportation is very cheap in Mongolia, and it is very effective. It can take you from one corner to another. And in US dollars, you're basically paying like 10 cents to ride the metro anywhere you like. You just have to learn the routes. Ksenia and I have been here so many times that I feel that I know Ulaanbaatar more than Irkutsk. In most bus stops in Mongolia, you get to see the bus routes. It is in their language, of course, but if you learn where these buses go, you can really move around the city very well. And right across, there's a theater, and it seems to have what is this Young Pioneers thing, right? It's like a Pioneers old Soviet flame, and behind it there's a mosaic. Very nice. I want you to see a little bit more of the city, so I recorded on the bus. I wanted you to see how many buildings are being built and how many buildings were already built in the last 10 years. And if you want to know who the king of malls is, it's definitely Mongolia. There's also a nice calm river that flows on the outside of the city. Before we go up to the memorial, I wanted to stop by this Buddha because on the Irkutsk video, everybody was saying, oh, you didn't do anything on the Buddha, on the Buddhist religion and all these things. So here we are visiting a Buddhist statue. The entrance to this Buddha is very nicely adorned, and it sits right below these new buildings. Mongolia is always building, man. It's just exactly like Novosibirsk. Non-stop building, so much traffic, a lot of bad drivers. Ksenia almost got killed actually by a driver not too long ago. And well, interestingly enough as well, the place that we're going to, the memorial, is up there. Now from down here it doesn't look special perhaps, but I can assure you when we make it up there, you're going to love it. Here are some peacocks. If you come to the city of Ulaanbaatar, it's really nice to get out of the traffic, move away from all the noise, and come to places like this. Here it is. And it's sitting itself on a small little hill. The mountains surrounding this city are not so tall, but we're actually at a high point because the mountain where the memorial is very high, and you'll see the city from there. You have these statues from all the different animals. Ksenia is doing some reels and some small videos. I have already said if you want to see more of what she does, I will put her Instagram on the screen. You can follow her on Instagram and see what she's up to. Look at these fellers. Well, we've made our way across the city. You saw the place where Genghis Khan was. And now it's time to see my favorite place in the whole city. I've already said it before. I've told you that we've been there already. But I believe that since the channel has grown a little bit more, maybe some newer audience, or maybe you've been following this channel for a long time and perhaps you haven't seen this memorial, because it's definitely one of our older videos. We're gonna head there now. We are at the bottom of the memorial, and you can see remnants of the Soviet era for Mongolia. If you don't know, the Soviet Union played a big role in giving these people a country back in the day. Well, we're going to move across to see the tank, to see the flags back there. We're going to see all of it. A lot of countries have turned their back on Russia. In fact, a lot of countries have followed the word of the United States, my country, and have cut ties with Russia. But I will tell you, there's not a lot of countries like Mongolia out there that will be flying the Russian flag every day of the year like these Mongolians do. And I'll show you where they do it, where you can see a Russian flag. Besides the embassy is this beautiful memorial. At the base of the memorial, because we are going behind this building, you can see they have Mongolian flags with Russian flags. Two Russian flags there in the center, flanking the Mongolian one in the middle. And right next to it is the tank memorial here, right at the bottom of the stairs. And on the side, it shows you the route that the Mongols took with the Soviets all the way from the Far East to 1940, from 1943 from the Far East to Berlin. And this tank is in memory of those men and women that took that march from the Moscow region all the way to Berlin to end the war. I talk about it a lot in this channel because I am a veteran myself, and I've given the ultimate respect to the Soviets, to the Russians, to the people who fought the Nazi Germans of World War II. It is because of them that the world had a chance. And I'm grateful for Mongolia for having such things to remember, because they also sent men, they sent food, they sent all they could to fight the Nazi people. But anyways, now we're going to go see the real memorial. Ksenia is maybe not excited about this part because we are taking the stairs. You can cheat and go through the mall to the 7th floor and just arrive at the top. But we're going to pay our respects to the old Soviets, and we're going to walk up the damn stairs because that's what we do here. If you haven't seen the previous video on this memorial, I'm going to link it on the comment section, and I'm going to link it on the description. You can look at it after this video. And I think you should really watch that video because that video was filmed during winter time, and it was completely different. We have experience in going up these stairs. I'm not really excited about it, but like I said, we have to pay our respect, and we have to go up these stairs one by one. It is nothing compared to what the men and women did for us in the Great Patriotic War. Right, Ksenia?
Yes.
Everybody in Russia has a family member. So we're gonna go to this memorial, and you're going to see it. It is absolutely beautiful. Let's show you the way. And there is that bridge. You can take the elevator to the 7th floor, and it drops you off a little bit more than halfway. But already you can see the little tip of the memorial there. That's where we're heading. It's quite a workout. Ksenia already took off her shirt, her flannel. She said she was getting hot.
Because sun's very hot. It's 9 in the morning and it's already hot.
How hot do you think it is?
Maybe like 25 degrees.
Oh. Yeah, but little by little, we're almost there. It's worth it, guys. It's really worth it. If you're going to visit Siberia, you need to visit Ulaanbaatar first. If, of course, you're coming in through Mongolia. The reason is, there's a lot of Russian history here, a lot of Soviet history. They have a very good relationship. Before going into the memorial, please do leave a respectful comment for the men and women who fought in the Great Patriotic War. And with that being said, let's get into it. On the outside, on this 360-degree mosaic, you can see Joseph Stalin. And on the front, you'll be able to see the man himself, Lenin. And before you go in, the memorial is guarded by a great Soviet soldier. And now, let's go in and see it. You can already see a little bit of it, but we will show you the 360-degree view. And so the memorial mosaic starts here. You can see these men are gearing for war. Perhaps he's got something in his hand, something that says, hey, these are orders, these are what you're going to do. The Mongolians themselves are starting to mobilize. You can see their men preparing for war, their horses. And then they're sent off. This is a mosaic that tells a story. As you start on one side, you can see the Soviets are with the Mongolians working together. A lot of symbolism happening here, my friends. Here you see the Soviets and the Mongolians celebrating the defeat of the Japanese with the Japanese flag on the ground, the imperialist Japanese. And as you continue further, you see the Soviets and the Mongols their triumph over the Nazis, the Germans. Very important part of history. A lot of grievance, of course. And you continue into the future, where two people together in harmony, and of course the Yuri is never to be missed in the mosaics. But this is a mosaic of friendship. And now we'll go again. I'll shut up and you can enjoy the mosaic. It's truly a shame that in modern times, the West is calling the Russian people Nazis. Let's not forget, it is the Russians and their ancestors and people like the Mongolians who fought the real Nazis, right? Let's not forget the sacrifices that the Russian people gave in the Great Patriotic War. And I'm sure that these people will never forget, because it seems like the West, and especially the Germans, who ironically call the Russians Nazis, have forgotten. But thanks to memorials like these people will never forget. And before I get any more emotional and tilted, I want to show you what's below the mosaic here, because the views are actually very beautiful themselves. We'll show you the 360-degree view. And Ksenia, how are you doing?
Very good.
Very good.
It's very beautiful. So many history. It's little emotion and a very good view around. Very good city.
Yeah, you know, she says it's a little bit emotional because honestly, even for me, who I am not Russian, but I understand the sacrifices that these men and women gave. Coming to a place like this is truly beautiful, and I think you should truly visit yourself to get that full feeling. So let's turn the camera around and show you the nature, or the cancerous city, depending on how you see it. This is the absolute southern part of the city. Here at the end of Ulaanbaatar, you can see the mountains there. There's still even trees there because it's uninhabited there. And the closer you get to the city, as we pan this way, you start seeing there's no trees. There's even so many buildings being built, like these new complexes. And as we continue turning here, we see that now we're truly getting into what is the center of the Ulaanbaatar. All those new buildings of the same colors. You walk here and you get a magnificent view. The Cengiz Square is somewhere in that direction. We were over there, deep into the city itself. The smog seems to be pretty bad today. It's not always like this, but if you notice, on the edge of the mountain, there's houses. People live in these yurts and they burn a lot of coal. The pollution is pretty bad, but not only because of that. I'll show you why in a bit. Here's the other side of the city, and there's energy being made off in the distance, and that is where the majority of this smoke is coming from. But anyways, Mongolia is a country that wants to grow. It's a country that wants to become first world status, and it must rely on its energy. That is how countries make it into the next level. And Mongolia is certainly doing an amazing job. It is non-stop building. Its people are leaving the nomadic life and coming into the city. Here's some art made by a merchant that sells on top of the memorial. I'm not going to lie, the memorial is in very bad condition, and I hope that it gets fixed. A lot of writing on the walls, and just you know, like the paint is chipping off. I hope that they restore this. Maybe if they don't restore it, unfortunately, then you won't be able to see it. So perhaps you should come while it's still here. I'm sure they will eventually restore it, because the Mongolian government does such a good job in such projects. I've seen the city become better. Ksenia and I have walked through places where we're like, wow, look how beautiful it looks now. So I'm going to make this video, and hopefully the next time we come or in the future, this is fixed. Mongolians, if you're watching, tell your government to fix this. And now, as we leave the memorial, we're going to walk to the mall here and show you how modern Mongolia is, because this mall is one of the more well-built. It's beautiful inside, and Mongolia is really a land of malls, guys. I used to think that Russia had a lot of malls, because in America there's not so many anymore, but you know, in Mongolia there's just one in each corner. It feels like there's one in each corner. But this one is perhaps the most beautiful one. It has a very good theater, and there's actually movies, by the way, that are here in English. So if you live in Irkutsk and you want to watch a movie in English, I don't know if Irkutsk has any, but this one has American movies in English. And when we visit Mongolia, we've seen one movie here at this theater, and it was really cool, really awesome. Let's check the views. Really cool. All right, Senya, let's go. You know the saying, Senya, have you ever heard of the saying, what goes up must come down?
I don't think so.
You've never heard what goes up must come down?
If you want to go up, you must go down.
No, just keep walking. Just keep walking. She doesn't know that saying. I wonder, guys, comment below. If you understand this in Russian, does this exist? What goes up must come down. And that is exactly what we're doing. Senya looks like she was in the band Nirvana in 1994, 1993. 1990 style. Really awesome. Guys, we're coming into the mall now. And I don't trust that. Ksenia, just walk across it. No. Go. She's really scared of it. Let's see if she'll do it. Just a little bit. Walk across it. Oh, one step. Oh, you cheating. Walk where there's no beam. Go, do it.
No, I don't want to die today.
Okay, I'll do it. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. If I fell here, it'd be horrible. Come look at this. It's so scary, especially when you're stepping on the crack, on the line where it meets. It doesn't feel stable at all. The floor looks awesome. I guess this is like tour happening over here, maybe Chinese tour. But here you can see traditional Mongolian stuff. The designs, bags, shoes, and all sorts of stuff. The floor here is great. The walls are great. In this mall, there's everything. But right now it's closed. A lot of the shops open at 11. We're going up looking for somewhere to charge the phone so we can keep recording. There's Senya. Level 5 has some like little bowling alley, a lot of game stuff. There's like a giant tarantula thing over there. But to keep going up, we need to take the elevator. Well, it seems like the phone is going to die. But anyways, now we're going to leave the mall and head over to Ksenia's favorite breakfast place. Let's head over there. We're taking the bus back into the city. We are at the extreme like southern point. We're going back in. This is how the mall looks on the outside. This is how the mall looks on the outside. You can see there's a fountain. But now we're going, like I said, to go eat. Ulaanbaatar is a noisy city, but here it's pretty quiet. Not a lot of people honking their horns. We weren't able to go to the restaurant that we wanted to. But we stopped at a place called Broadway, and we're going to show you the menu and show you what we're about to eat. Okay, let's take a look at the menu. Ksenia's already looking to see what she's going to eat. I'm going to eat the same thing I always eat at Broadway. And it's not that. It's a lasagna. I love menus that have photos because it shows you what you're getting yourself into. A lot of restaurants in Russia don't have pictures. You don't even know what you're ordering. Of course, you can get the translation, but in reality, you don't know what to expect, how it's going to look. We have a rule between Ksenia and I, and it's change the restaurant. If you want something else, don't change what you eat in each restaurant. I always get the lasagna, and it's always good for me. So that's what I'm going to order. And we just have to see what Ksenia wants.
I want this. Beef mushroom risotto.
Alright, she says she wants the beef mushroom risotto.
It's very delicious.
Let's do it. Okay, here's my lasagna. But unfortunately, Ksenia had to change hers because it wasn't on the menu. There's our drinks. It's delicious. We stopped recording this part because we actually found a hare that was the size of a horsetail hair. And we told them that we didn't want the salad anymore, but they insisted and brought another salad where we found a second hare on the next salad. And well, we just had such a horrible time. So we just had the worst experience at this restaurant, the Broadway, you know. We had came to eat so many times, but we found a big hair on the Caesar salad. And you know what? We were like, you know, we won't put it in the video because, you know, sometimes there's a mistake. And then we asked, you know, don't bring another salad. And they brought one anyways. And the second one had a big hair. And when I told them that I would pay, for half of the salad, they made me pay for all of the salad. And I only wanted to pay for half because I only ate half until I found the second hair. So if you are in Ulaanbaatar, never visit this place because they are rude and apparently they can't keep their hair out of the food. It's very sad. Hello friends, it is almost 9 p.m. here. As you can see, there's still light. We are chilling. We are going to get some food. And the afternoon, the evening is absolutely fantastic. The weather is perfect. This is the busiest street in the entire city. The biggest crossing. Everybody crosses through here because this is the department store. Like the center of all the malls. We're about to... Oh wow, somebody got ran over, guys. Oh, by the way, it's really dangerous in Mongolia. The drivers are really bad and they don't really care about people. So you can see here a driver hit a scooter. Of course, Ksenia almost got killed a few days ago. Mongolian people don't stop. It's pretty crazy. Do you feel lucky because it wasn't you who was hit? You know, Like I said, Senya almost got hit a few days ago. The drivers do not stop. Even if the light is red in Mongolia, drivers will still go if they think they can make it. So if you come to Ulaanbaatar, you definitely have to be careful because the drivers will not stop. Anyways, we're going to go get evening food. Thanks a lot for watching. I know it was a little bit full with so many things happening, but honestly, we love Ulaanbaatar and we plan on making at least 1 or 2 more videos showing you the different parts of the city. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you on the next.